I should probably get into the chat myself. It'll show up on here anyway, so.
Play something.
Shit show! It's a good show. It's a great show. It's a shit show. Pickle Rick show. Not a Jerry show. Scary Terry show. Lick my balls show. Szechuan sauce show. It's the fucking Rick and Morty Fan Show, bitch.
Hey, can everybody hear me? I don't know. Let me. All right. Hello. Yes, I'm on. Okay, good. Hey guys, how's it going? It's the Rick and Morty Fan Show, and for you guys, we're going to be doing a ranking of all the episodes so far today. That's what we got on here today. I think I kind of needed to do this. I feel like the new episode is going to be the top. It's going to be the best. I'm already anticipating it being the best, episode of the season, which is bad because I'm setting myself up for failure. I hope you guys aren't doing that too. But I really think that this is going to be the best episode of the season. And I want to rank all the episodes and kind of talk about the whole season before it gets capped off. And yeah, very excited to do so. This hoodie brought to you by Lance. First time I got to wear it on air, I think. I think Lance is in the chat here. So we'll go over the chat soon. Oh, there you go. Sweet. He's in the chat. Yeah, we're going to go over basically the season, how I rank the season, why I rank it that way. And then you guys can go ahead and let me know what you think of my rankings and maybe let me know what kind of switches you would make. Very excited for this new season, for this finale coming up. It's the first ever 1 hour episode all aired at once. It's built up as kind of a very spectacular event. And, Rick and Morty loves to do their own thing and find ways to make it interesting. So I wouldn't be surprised if we get some like very interesting surprises during this whole thing, because they like to just pop up there and do whatever, they like to be exciting and give you surprises like they do when they just air out of nowhere, or when they decide the schedule is just going to change. Not a lot of people knew about the break before last season when they did 5 and 5. Nobody knew about this whole taking a couple weeks off and then doing a 1 hour special. It just came out of nowhere, and that's what Rick and Morty likes to give us. So very excited for that. Unfortunately, not really a very exciting news week for Rick and Morty. I haven't really seen, not even any of those, lately there's been a lot of video games coming out with Rick and Morty skins, things like that. Not even really any news about that, and no news about the new episode has really trickled out. I didn't really reach out to anyone that I know that works on the show lately because I don't want them to give out anything before it airs. I wouldn't ask them to do that, but I might get more into that stuff in the off season, which will be after this Sunday. So this Sunday, we should be able to get on and do a reaction episode. And Tuesday, we'll discuss it at further length. And then we'll get back into season 2. We'll be reviewing season 2, every episode, one by one. We'll get back into doing more competitions, fun stuff like that. A little bit less to do now that, we'll be in the off season. So it's the first season that I've got to review the season while it's happening. So it's been really exciting. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Without further ado, let's get into the list. Let me just load up my list here. All right. Very surprising. Even when I watched a few of these episodes back today, obviously I didn't watch all 8, but the ones I felt like I didn't really remember why I liked them or why not, or what was in them, I watched back them. So I watched, I think 4 episodes today. So roughly half of them. And this is what I came up with. Number 8, episode 7, the Gotron Jerry-Sis Rick Vangelon. This episode, it was good. I liked it. I liked the story. I liked how they intermingled gangster films and anime films. There was some pretty interesting gags in it. I felt like the storytelling was really good, but I I really felt like this episode lacked a really big, like one big joke, one slam dunk joke that made me laugh a lot. So I actually have this ranked the lowest, number 8. I think that'll be very interesting. I know the giant incest baby returning was great, and I think they really brought home that whole idea with that episode. Like I think when that idea hatched in the giant sperm episode, people were upset about it. Well, some people were upset. I don't think any of you guys were upset about it, but people were not really high on that idea. And I think that this episode, with the return of the giant incest baby and the story where Summer teaches it to, not be a soldier and not be weaponized like the military wanted. She raised it and it came and saved them. I liked that part, but I didn't think it was I thought there was no signature in this episode. There was no one joke that really got me. So I think that's why this is rated my lowest episode of the season, which is, very surprising to me. Let's do a quick roll call here. I see a lot of people signing in. Misty Stone, long time to be alive on with us. Awesome. Melissa Todd's in here with us. DMT is in here. Lance is here. By the way, once again, Lance bought me this awesome Pickle Rick sweater. Woo! Well, he gave me a bunch of stuff, and I decided to keep this one. This was a no prize one. He sent me some awesome stuff. I obviously gave away a bunch of it, and I'm going to give away a bunch more of it in our next giveaway. But this one, this is staying with me. Thank you to Lance, biggest supporter of the show. Alex Roof is also in here. Linton Jonas is here. Let me scroll up anymore here. Brenny was in here. Fat Pat was in here. I'm not sure if everybody's still here, but that was earlier, I think pre-episode. Yeah, Misty, I remember you have the same one. I think, didn't you wear this when we did like the Wear All Your Swag competition? I think you wore this in that picture. I think I remember that. There you go. Yeah, perfect. The Pickle Rick pick. Yeah. I love that. That was awesome. I remember that. Fun times. We're going to be doing that again real soon. Actually, next Tuesday, I'm probably going to plan a big fun competition for next show. So, and we also have some interesting updates we're going to be doing. Anyways, back episode number 7. My number 7 in my list is number 5. Mortykin Grickfeedy. It had some good things. This is the one where we had the Bruce Chutback stuff. The awesome Bruce Chutback song. I loved that. It was great. Classic Dan Harmon song. It had the return of the ship that was saving Summer in the Spider episode. Return had an adventure. There was a good gag where it shoved some sort of computer processor in the back of some lawyer's head, and she was talking like a robot. It was, I thought it was a pretty funny kind of gag. But the main arc was the cringe Jerry, Jerry's cringe moments and his terrible karaoke feeding into the weird Cinnabites, which are the Hellraiser type guys, if you guys don't know. It was kind of the same thing. It didn't have the biggest laugh or the most, not even the most laughs. The part I loved the most about this episode, and this is one of the ones I watched earlier, is the idea that Jerry, was being cringe for everyone. And then when Rick went to save him, they're like, oh no, we wanted to capture you, because things can't be cringy unless there's people to, high road them and be like, oh, that's so cringy. And they kind of said that, Rick was just as lame as Jerry. And I thought that was a very big, important scene for Rick to learn, holy shit, I'm high roading people, and these guys think I'm lame for that. So I like that, but there was no real, there wasn't anything when I watched it back today, no big laugh, no big realization that made me laugh. There was this interesting part, and Jerry doing karaoke is probably the highlight of it. Him doing I don't even remember. I couldn't remember what the song's named when I did the episode review on it, several weeks ago. And I can't remember what the song's called now either, but, he's doing, oh, yeah. And he's adding words into it that aren't there. I'm pretty sure the guy does not say the moon, the sun, or whatever he's saying. And also, what is it? Beth tells him as well to sing another song, and he totally invents his own words to it. And it was funny. I like it, that part was funny, but there was no like really big punch in that whole episode. So that's my number 7. I'm not going to spend too much time on some of the lower ones. I want to put more into the big ones here. The number 3 I have is Rick Dependent Spray, which I have as episode 3, but it's episode 4. I'm fairly sure episode 3 is the Planetina one. Yeah, I guess I got them mixed up, or the website I got them from was mixed up. But episode 4, Rick Dependent Spray with the giant sperm. I think this is probably the lowest on most people's list. I think if you would poll most people, they would say this was the lowest. I know that my fan base here, you guys, I know DMT loves this episode. I know Lance loves this episode. It didn't hit for me a lot. Same thing. The giant incest baby was good. I loved Blazin', and the whole thing about was he wearing his wife's thong when he died was funny. The Chuds. There was a lot of great parts with the American president. I love the names that he came up with them. The names he came up for the sperm. And just the fact that the whole thing was based on Morty, like being, having sex with the horse jerk-off machine, which we showed a real-life picture of one of these weird horse jerk-off machines that they have during our actual live stream. I think it was a live reaction episode. Sean threw up a real picture of one of those on here. So I want to say that this episode packed a little bit more laughs in it. I liked the overly manly soldiers. I liked Beth and Summer, coming up with how the military and the president and basically everyone was being sexist. Like some of those jokes were like well placed, and I just think once again, there was not one really big joke in this one. Like the later episodes I have, the Mr. Nimbus episode, the Thanksploitation special. These ones all had one part that had me like gasping, laughing, dying, laughing. And even going back and laughing, going back and watching them, still having that big laugh at something that happened. That time god moment that, that happens in Mr. Nimbus is, something that's big and was like really hilarious. And I can see people running up saying like, I'm a time god. I can see it's that same sort of thing. Like when Pickle Rick came out, everybody everywhere in the streets, any of your friends, any camp party you went to, anything that happened, you could hear someone in the background being like, I'm Pickle Rick. And I remember like playing laser tag and having someone run saying, I'm Tiny Rick, and that sort of thing. And, those sorts of things didn't happen in a lot of these episodes, and they don't happen in them all. I'm not saying that every episode, even, the classic ones, season 1 to 3, they don't all have that either. But I feel like we were lacking in that department a little bit this season. Oh, how's it going? We got Damon has joined us. Jody has joined us. Misty is painting a Mr. Nimbus. Misty, fantastic. I love your art. Your art is fantastic. It's been featured on this show quite a few times. So awesome. Let's quickly go in and see what we got here. Misty says the season seems kind of serious type stuff. Rick doesn't seem to be having as much fun as he used to. Yeah, it's been interesting. Rick, I actually thought the opposite when I was watching the Gotron episode. Rick looks like he's having a blast and he's getting really into it and really crazy. But it does seem like Rick isn't the central character in a lot of episodes. There's a lot of episodes where he's not, his adventures are not this the center. It's all been about, and I've mentioned this before, this whole season's been about Rick's sidekicks. It's been about Rick's relationship with Summer, Rick's relationship with Morty, Rick's relationship with Mr. Nimbus, Rick's relationship with Jerry when we came to the Cinnabite episode. It's kind of been more about his sidekicks and what they do and his relationships with them, rather than a perspective on him and his character. And not until we got to episode 8, the most recent one, where we got a lot of Rick character development, I think was interesting. Good to see you too as well, Jody. I know Mr. Matt Conway's not in here. Mr. Matt Conway got a new job, so that's really awesome. I love, people message me and they say, I'm sorry, I'm not going to make the show tonight. Like, guys, if you have something important to do, it's okay. It's okay. You can do what you want to do. Just watch the episode later. For fuck's sakes, watch it later. No, I'm just kidding. All right. The next episode we're going to get to is Mortiplicity. Obviously had all the different Smith families, and a lot of people didn't like this one as well. It was kind of hated on a lot just from the fact that there was constant, like absolutely constant, like family death. And they really teased you into thinking that you were seeing the real family. And this obviously bothers people that are people who want to know more and more. There's a lot of people who want to know the backstory to Rick, the backstory to Morty. How did they come here? They just want to learn about C-137, and they want the other Ricks and Mortys to be in the background. Well, this episode, we don't even know if we ever saw the C-137. At the end, we think that we saw them because they have the space Beth, but how do we know that they're the ones that had the space Beth? We don't even know what number they are now anymore because we don't know. C-137, was that the original? Was that before they switched? Who knows? So I think this bothered a lot of people who wanted to know, like, what is this? Is this the real family? What is it them yet? Is it them now? Is it them now? Is it them now? And they kept dying. But, for fans like myself, I don't mind if we ever see the correct Rick or correct Morty. I feel like all the Ricks are all Rick. They're all the Mortys are all Morty, even though there's some weird ones and some obviously very different ones that have different opinions and things like that. They all stem from the same character. And most of them that we see are very comparable. Like most of the Ricks when we see the Citadel of Ricks, a lot of them were pretty similar. A lot of them were the same. They got along well. They mostly just made fun of the Mortys. Same thing when they were tracking down C-137. They got along. They made fun of Jerry's. They all made fun of Doofus Rick, which basically was kind of a Jerry Rick. So I think this bothered people, but it gave us some of the funniest things. This was an episode that gave us, for one, the most hilarious after scene thing that happened, of all. The torture of the wooden Jerry, just becoming part of the dam, being chewed up, being burned, being made into a mirror, being smashed, being crucified. And just saying this is just a line. This is the worst thing that's ever happened to anyone. Absolutely fucking made me I just laughed my ass off because obviously we love to see Jerry get tortured. It's just, I'm sure there are people out there who feel sorry for Jerry, but it's kind of our thing as Rick and Morty fans that we like to see him get tortured and get, just bad things happen to Jerry. Bad things always happen to Jerry. If you don't like it, I would, I'd pick another show because I think it's going to continue for the entirety of Rick and Morty. So anyways, wouldn't Jerry just oh my God, I laughed so hard. That was one of the biggest moments for me, but also I really loved the crazy horror looking Rick. Had the really weird looking face. He had another Rick face over top. There was the family that we thought was C-137 at the time. They were wearing look like Muppet masks. And, that stuff was good. It gave us a lot of interesting Ricks and Mortys for our posters and things like that. Lots of different designs, interesting stuff. There was some good parts, like they had a big fight, and then where do they find Jerry? Of course, they find Jerry in the closet. Look, appearance from producer Sean. Rare appearance from producer Sean of the Rick and Morty Fan Show. Yeah, it gave us lots of interesting things for our posters and things like that. But once again, that was the biggest laugh. That's what I'm searching for, and that's what these other episodes that I was talking about don't have, is that one thing that I just fucking laughed my ass off at. Just absolutely cackled at when I saw that live. I was like laughing my ass off, and I have in all the other watch alongs I've done with that episode. It's always made me laugh. So that's what I'm missing. That's what these other episodes are missing. Our next episode, this would be number 4 on my list. Would it be number 4? Yes, would be a Rick Convenient Mort. That one is the one that had Planetina, and it also had Rick and Summer kind of going to all these crazy different places. We have a new, I don't think I've seen this person here. Ben Ashworth is with us. Awesome. Welcome to the show. I don't know if you've watched the show before, Ben, but welcome to the show. Mortiplicity was, fucking great episode. I absolutely loved it, Ben. But not quite as much as this next one. Rick Convenient Mort was the one that gave us that moment that we had of high emotions, I guess. At the end, the whole thing with him having to dump Planetina and crying to his mom was it was hard. It was hard. It was a hard moment. I think most people that I've talked to thought it was a very emotional moment and very relatable moment when you think of Morty being 14. Obviously, I've spoken about it so many times on the show. The writing for Morty and the way that they portray him as a 14-year-old kid is fucking bang on. It's exactly what I picture, being a 14-year-old. Like all the guy wants to do is fucking have crushes on teens and fucking jerk off all the time, fucking rage out at his parents. He's a perfect version of a 14-year-old boy. Now, this one, once again, this has that big moment, and I think all the ones that we do too. But this big moment wasn't from the Planetina side. The Rick and Morty Pussy Pounders t-shirt is got to be the fucking, the best t-shirt to come out. I need one of those. I haven't found it yet. I have found it. You can find it everywhere, but I haven't bought one yet. Too busy buying my own t-shirts, which you can buy, by the way. I think Damon actually just posted that he got the shirt. Oh my God, where's my bag? I'll show you the shirt. All right, I'm going to look for the shirt while I talk about this. But anyways, that whole thing, I loved how he wrote, when he gave up on Morty and he decided to give Summer the shirt, and he just wrote over top of it. It was absolutely hilarious. Oh, here we go. I think this is actually the same one that Damon got. Oh, this is not my Rick and Morty one. This is my Tommy B shirt. I don't know if you guys know Tommy B from our network, but this is his catchphrase that he always says when we piss him off. I guess I'll go fuck myself. So that shirt's for him, but the part that I got that I thought was hilarious was them going all the time and fucking talking about going to these planets, and then them talking about friggin' eating buttholes. Was like that whole thing. Like I know I've posted the GIF several times of just like Rick and Summer just fucking. That was so good. I laughed so hard, and I was at work when I watched that episode. There was only one other person working, and all the other the people I work for weren't awake because it was at 11 o'clock at night. But you guys can get a Rick and Morty Fan Show t-shirt. This one is very wrinkly, but I just got it in my package, so it's I gotta wash it first. But the Rick and Morty Fan Show t-shirt, you guys can get that at TeePublic. I'll put right at the end of the show, I'll throw the link in there. You guys don't have to buy a t-shirt if you don't want to, but you can. Yeah, no, the whole thing, you know, the whole idea of the, you know, like, oh, I see you have an unlicked butthole. Like, just like, oh my God. I laughed my ass off. And I think it probably made it worse that I was at work. I was laughing way too hard at 11 o'clock at night. I was working in a group home, so everyone was sleeping and I was cackling my ass off while I was folding laundry, I think. But oh my God. But you know, I had to do it for you guys. I had to watch this episode for you guys right on the time when it was on, and I was at work, and that was one of the ones I didn't get to do an immediate reaction of. So, you know, great point. Also, it has a really great after scene where they're talking about how their mom is pissed at the dad and the son because they all went to this crazy orgy the night before and everything. Like, very funny looking, interesting looking monsters. The boob elbow things. The hello lady was just hilarious. And Planetina was great. I love the idea of having the teenagers from Captain Planet being adults and you know, managing Planetina's career, basically Captain Planet. And yeah, and her being overly crazy, like vegan, earth style life, you know, lifestyle, I thought was great. I kind of can relate to that. I was a vegan for like 5 years. Well, if I summed it up, I've been a vegan for 8 years of my adult life. And I'm 35, so a lot of my adult life. So I can understand that because I met a lot of vegans along the way who were really crazy about, you know, like, don't, you know, if you didn't recycle something properly, they're like, what the fuck is wrong with you? And you're like, oh, I don't know. I didn't learn it right in school, but, you know, it was good. I liked a lot of things from the episode. And like I said, I think it really topped it off by having that really personal moment of Morty being sad, knowing that he had to break up with Planetina, his first serious girlfriend. You know, he's had a couple other love interests, but you know, this is the one where he was actually, you know, he was in, they were dating. And also the idea that he said that she should come live with them, I think was really funny because, like, I think that happens to a lot of us. We have a girlfriend and then they come over and they basically live with you. And, you know, when you're a teenager, that's, you know, it's crazy what lengths you go to for what you think is love. And then you'll probably find out that that person isn't really right for you, you know, unless you married your high school sweetheart. And then sometimes you marry them and then you get divorced. So number 3, we're going to skip that one. So very, very awesome episode. Number 3, I have Rick and Morty's Thanksploitation Spectacular. And let me tell you, this episode was fantastic. And I'll tell you one reason why I loved this episode. I found out that the President of the United States in real life pardons a turkey every year. And I know a lot of you guys are from the States. A lot of people I know that are fans of the show are from the States. So I'm not being anti-American here, but boy, is that fucking dumb. I know it's been passed down from a long time. I've heard a few stories about how it originates. But man, every president pardoning a turkey for whatever reason, so it doesn't have to get killed, and apparently lives the rest of its life in some sort of comfort because it's a pardoned turkey from the president. That's just a little crazy for me. I don't know. I feel like that's crazy. I feel like we could have gotten rid of that 50, 60 years ago. I don't know. Apparently Lincoln did it, so quite a while ago. Anyways, the fact that that's a real thing, and I think probably is a much... apparently I'm talking about American Turkey Burger all episode. He is also 35. He is also divorced. Well, I'm not divorced, but I mentioned people get divorced when they marry their high school sweethearts. I have a few friends who did that, and it was a mistake. Oh, Jody says, I think I'm 35 too. I know it's fucking weird when someone asks you how old you are and you're an adult and you're like, born 85. And what are the years now? Well, 21. No, that's 40. No, that's 36, except it's not September yet. So my birthday's, well, my birthday's in September. I'm telling everybody too much. Just guys, don't let me tell you my social security number on here. Anyways, the idea that he pardons a turkey every year, the president, makes me laugh just enough. That real fact that was brought to life makes me laugh. But oh my God, the first time that I saw the turkey version of Rick, I fucking laughed my ass off. I think it's a better design than Pickle Rick. I think it's a better design than, Tiny Rick or any of the popular characters that Rick has turned himself into or morphed into, or any of the odd, weird Ricks and Mortys. The turkey Rick is fucking hilarious looking. And not only that, the American president who, the turkey who gets morphed into the American president, who is not actually the American president, is hilarious. Fucking little tail on the back. That's like kind of weird and just like dug into his back and all the weird mutations. He's got the little nose thing there that the turkeys have. Oh my God, I laughed so hard. I love the fights in it. The fights are hilarious. I love fights in Rick and Morty. They're not quite as good as animated fights in Family Guy. Animated fights in Family Guy are really good, really funny. It's not my favorite show, but the fights in that are really good. Like whenever Peter fights the giant chicken, it's always hilarious. But fights in Rick and Morty are always super brutal. Like everyone's always kicking each other in the nuts and throwing rocks and dirt in each other's face and spitting on each other. And everything's a very dirty, drag them out like crazy. I don't know. It was definitely interesting. But anyways, I love that whole episode. I loved the designs of the crazy aliens who were the what the hell? Oh, the pilgrims. The pilgrims and the natives were weird aliens instead of actual, and they came and saved the day. It was definitely like just great designs and great stuff throughout, like great content, great story. Just the way that it started off with Rick planning out all his moves, and I'm going to do this, and I'm going to turn myself into turkey, and then he'll think that I'm that turkey, but I'll know that I'm not because I did this last year, and next time I'm going to do this. And you're going side by side with the president. He's like, and he's going to think that, but we're going to send in soldiers as turkeys, and then we're going to weed them out. And then he thinks we're going to be in this car, but we're actually going to be in this car. And like the planning against each other was hilarious. Carried on from a previous episode where he had kind of a whole thing built up with American President. The American President shows up in so many of these episodes too. Great, absolutely amazing. I love the voice to Keith David. Amazing to have him in on there because he's a great legendary cartoon voice and a good actor. I mean, this was a great episode. I thought it had the big laughs, but it also had a great story, great animation. It was great all around. Everything was positive. This is the first episode I was really, really positive about, I think. And so that's why it's number 3. Number 2, and I would say I'm going to get some hate for this, but I don't, with all the guys I talked to on here, I talked to DMT, I talked to Jody, so I don't think I'm gonna get a lot of hate for this, but number 2 episode is Mort Dinner, Rick Andre, the Mr. Nimbus episode. Obviously, Mr. Nimbus controlling the cops was hilarious. It was such a great opening to the season, and I think, I don't think many people were disappointed in the opener because Mr. Nimbus was so great. The whole thing involving him getting a little bit of backstory with the Kyle and Rick saying like, don't try to establish a fucking timeline with me, you fucking seafood lobster motherfucker. It was good. It built up lots of important things for the rest of the season because it was Morty kind of screwing up and Rick being like, fine, you're not my favorite. Summer's my favorite now. And Summer screws this up by she blows in the conch and makes Mr. Nimbus even bigger, and he beats the shit out of Rick. And it's funny. I love the line that he's an ice cold dick killer, which he says a couple times in the episode. But like him controlling the cops and Jerry and Beth being a sex positive couple. Lots of great things in this episode, but just the fact that it brought us Mr. Nimbus, who I think is a character we will see again, maybe not soon because they don't like to do that a lot, but I feel like we'll get Mr. Nimbus at some point. He's a beloved character, and Dan Harmon, voices him, so it's easy to get Dan Harmon back in. He's already there. He's already keeping an eye on Rick and Morty all the time anyways. So, good point. Ben says Rick keeps getting saved a lot this season. He does. Yeah. He also doesn't seem like he's the smartest man in the universe, the man, who can outsmart everyone this season. He doesn't really seem sort of built up like that. And I feel like next season they will build that back up, because like as much as there's character progression, I think the character progression is going to be left up to Morty and Summer. But I feel like, Rick being an adult and being where he is and having all those other Ricks where they are, I don't think Rick is going to have as much progression. So I feel like even though he wobbled a little bit to being a little bit more humanized, I feel like he'll snap back. He'll have that rubber band effect where he gets back to his regular character. But anyways, yeah, Mr. Nimbus, fantastic episode. The whole time god thing was amazing. Building a whole history of a whole nother universe, the thing that started with Hoovy and just putting the wine out there to age it, bringing Hoovy back sort of innocently and not noting that when he gets back, he's going to be way in the future. But they built back like 6-7 scenes where they were like, well, now the history is here. They're all waiting for Morty to come back. And now we're at the part where people think that they don't believe in that shit. And then they're back. No, they've actually built a whole castle around it waiting for Morty. And then there's no more him coming again. So now then once again, the younger generation is like, why the fuck are we waiting around for this guy to come back? He always comes back. The whole history, the time god stuff, getting Jessica there, having her trapped, seeing the development of a civilization. The civilization also goes to having like robot bodies with AI personality and like they've transcended the bodies of, like a lot of people kind of think that, eventually Earth will go, more digital. We'll have robots hanging out with us. It'll be just like fucking that Will Smith movie with the goddamn robots. That, might happen to us someday, but I think we're good for now. Anyways, amazing. Like world building, the whole thing was great and definitely going to be explored in some of the comics and things like that. I would definitely say if it hasn't already happened, it's going to get explored in the comics for sure. If you guys, I haven't mentioned this in a while, but if you guys are really into the lore, the whole backstory of things, and it's not always canon, but the Rick and Morty comic books go back and revisit all the characters you love all the time. They give you the sorts of things you kind of want in the episodes. And if you don't get it, then a lot of times they give you that in the comic books. So I very much recommend the comic books for anyone who's into that. Just read my, I read it a bit ago, but read my second Justin Roiland comic, Orcs in Space. It's actually technically comic number 3 because 1 and 2 were put together in the first issue. Awesome. Still great. So I recommend that, Orcs in Space as well. But before we leave, let's go over, I don't know if you guys have picked it out already, but my favorite episode is episode 8, Rickternal Friendshine of the Spotless Mort. Honestly, this episode wins just for the Battle of Blood Ridge. Like, there's other great things in this episode, but the Battle of Blood Ridge is fucking amazing. I could watch that over and over again. I wish we could play the music here, but we'd probably get I don't know, demonetized. We haven't had any super chats anyway. I didn't even mention super chats. I'm so fucking bad at this. If you guys want to support this channel in the next 5 minutes that I'm on here, or if you want me to read something, maybe I missed something that you said, you can always send in a super chat, anything from, I think $2 up to whatever, and then I'll definitely read on air. I'll read on air, even if you say like, fuck this guy in his stupid Pickle Rick fucking sweater. What an idiot. I hope his fucking show burns to the ground. I'll still read it because I don't know, whatever. I don't care. But appreciate that. Also, we have a Patreon here, and it's just down there. Patreon.com/Fandom Empire. You can sign up for Patreon. It's a monthly subscription. You get extra shows from us. You get shows about everything under the sun that we cover. And yeah, you can sign up for that. And also, if you guys like Halloween, we're going to do Halloween 6 watch along right after this episode. Well, we're going to try. Producer Sean says we're going to try. I don't know if we're going to get it done. No, we'll get it done. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about Sean. He'll figure it out. Anyways. Yeah, episode 8 was my favorite. Comment in the chat too. What was your guys' favorite episode of the season so far? Because mine was definitely this. Honestly, Rick and Bird Person doing the little hug it out with the guns, spinning around, shooting. The music was this awesome video game mix, like amazing video game style music. Was just so great. And they had giant AT-AT looking things. They had all sorts of cool looking bad guys coming out trying to destroy them. And we got to see not only Rick in a new type of Iron Man style armor, but we also got to see Bird Person in armor, kind of a cross between Bird Person and Phoenix Person. And we got the biggest tidbit, the biggest thing that we've got from their relationship so far, which was the like amazing revelation that was always in front of our face, because Bird Person is such a monotoned, kind of boring type of person. And we always just kind of assumed that he was like Mr. Spock, that he was like kind of a robotic person, kind of a low charisma type person. But really, he's just not that into Rick. And as much as he says that Rick is his friend, he treats it more as their fellow soldiers, their comrades. He doesn't treat them like their friends. And that was like amazing revelation that happened, and that Rick is trying to always impress him. And like I said before, after watching this episode, if you go back and watch any episode with Bird Person, and it's very consistent, Rick is always like, "Oh, Bird Person, how are you?" And Bird Person's always like, what's the emergency? Like I'm doing something, or I'll help you with this, but then I have to go. He's never been really attached to Rick. Like, we haven't seen that. The only thing that we've seen that makes him attached to Rick is the story train thing. That was not even canon. Them doing the singing, I'm a bird and a person. Hilarious. But anyways, that revelation, that battle, the whole Blood Ridge scene, just fantastic. The garage constantly saying she'd suck Rick's dick was hilarious. And trying to replace him and trying to stay alive was hilarious. It was just all around. It gave us all those things that we wanted, all those backstory things that we've been hoping for, but it was also hilarious. There was some great things in there. And it really closed up the character of Tammy. I feel like we don't need any more Tammy now. We've kind of, obviously she's gone now. But like a really put the closure on the relationship between Bird Person and Tammy. And now they can move on and do some other stuff. I wouldn't be surprised if Bird Person made a cameo in this next episode coming up. I don't think he'll be a big part of it because they just did it. But, I think being as Rick is going to be searching for a new Morty or a new sidekick, that's going to be part of it. So we got a couple minutes left. What do you want to go to today? 45, 50? 50 is good. Okay. Let's go back to the chat. And let's see. Oh, we got a super chat in. Lance Livingstone sends in $3. Says the sperm episode was my favorite. The sperm episode was good. I there was a lot of things that I liked that I didn't mention as well. The sperm estimate was hilarious. A little badge that said SPI on it, and he was obviously modeled after the character from Stargate. And I love how he just walks in and says like, "Oh, I've been following them, our sperm host this entire time," and he's got like his badge also has a little sperm on it. And it'd just be the idea of being a giant sperm monster expert was hilarious. And also, I loved that Rick didn't seem to know what was going on. We could still say like maybe Rick knew the whole time that it was Morty's sperm that made the whole thing go. But Morty blaming it on Rick and being, letting him take the blame was funny. But also, Rick, when he was talking to the American president, says, Stonehenge, pyramids, all these things, Sasquatch, like what's the explanation for all these things? Well, maybe they were just giant sperm the whole time. Like he's obviously riffing out all this stuff that obviously not true, because the only time it happened, the only reason it happened was because Morty, used the horse jerk off machine probably more than once, because Morty is a dirty, dirty doggy. So great point. I did like this episode, and rewatching these episodes, every time I rewatch any of the episodes from the season, I kind of take them in as my, as part of my Rick and Morty canon, part of my, they get accepted into Rick and Morty fandom. Every time you watch them, they become more and more normalized, and you take in the things from them. One of the problems is I've watched every episode, especially from seasons 1 and 2, 100 times. I can say them all right away. I can say all the words from them. I got all the background jokes in them. But there's some things like that you don't catch. Like just today, I was watching the sperm episode. Rick and Morty are walking down the hall to the American president, and Rick's talking about how he made a mistake, and Morty's like, sometimes you make a mistake, you just have to, wipe it off clean and throw it in the garbage. And obviously he's talking about after you jerk off. And Rick's like, I don't really get your meaning here, but we'll just continue. So just like a joke in there that I don't think I ever heard. I don't really got that. Alan says, makes you wonder how the Chuds got there. Very interesting. Yeah, I like the Chud people. I thought that was hilarious too. Them at the end where she just like burrows into the ground, I thought was really interesting how that happened. Weird Chud horse people. And of course, Rick, once again, having sex with everything, from a horse to a planet, made its way into this thing. Anyways, so that was thanks super chat from Lance Livingstone. Alan says, I just watched this one first show this season when I'm current. The first time you've been current with the season. Alan Prescott, our resident champion of what that's what we got to do again. Trivia championships. Let's do another trivia championship, guys. Maybe that's what we'll do next Tuesday. Anyways, love doing the trivia. That's always pretty fun. American Turkey Burger says, what about Cash App or Venmo so you don't lose any money from YouTube? I know YouTube takes a lot of money, but YouTube is also a very big platform that you can build your audience on really quick, and it provides you with a lot of stuff. So as much as a lot of people hate on YouTube, whatever, I don't know. If I do my show on Facebook Live, I can't do the things I can do on YouTube. So I don't know. Maybe we'll look into getting those sorts of things so we can get a little bit higher cut, because YouTube fucking makes a shit ton of money off all these live shows. And we're doing all the work. God damn it. I don't know. Whatever. I don't know. I'm not really that upset about it, but, Ben says, better writing in this episode. Don't know if they had some new writers for other episodes. They seem to have a lesser level. It was a lot of very new writers for this season. A lot of people have blamed if they don't like this season. And the viewership has been a little bit down because it really peaked in season 3. But season 3 after that, they didn't capitalize by having season 4 come out soon. They delayed it so long, and they delayed season 5 so long. So they did lose some of their audience there. I don't think a lot of it is the quality of the episodes. However, it has been different, and it has been different because there has been different writers. A lot of the writers have gone on to work on Marvel shows, which is why there's been so many Marvel jokes in this season. Because Rick and Morty writers have gone all over the fucking Marvel calendar now. So they've been in a lot of different projects there. So yeah, that's been interesting. Damon says he voted for the sperm episode as well. So very popular with you guys and lower on the list for me. But it's all good. I think we're down at the end here. DMT says agreed. Creators deserve proper treatment. I'm saying, this is more about content creators on YouTube. Yeah, I wish we would get all the money from all the super chats that we get, and I wish that that stuff happened. But that's kind of the name of the game. What can you do? There's not really much we can do about it. Or support us on Patreon. You know what? Instead of super chatting all the time, if you're someone who super chats, I know Lance super chatted, but Lance is also a Patreon member, so he can add that on top if he wants. But support us on Patreon, even if it's no matter what level it's on. That's constant support for us. We get more of that. I don't know what kind of cut. We get 92% of that, as opposed to like
50 now with YouTube.
50.
So they're taking 30. I don't know if the audience. They're taking 38% of the cut, but before your taxes were included in with that 38%. Now they're taking 38%, and you're getting taxed on top of it.
Oh my God!
I literally got the email on Sunday. Fucking brutal.
Okay, so support us on Patreon instead. I think what we were talking about this other day, and a lot of channels are kind of going there anyway. So, anyways, IMDb. Ben says IMDb has the sperm episode by far the lowest rated. Yeah, I know there was a lot of hate for that episode, but I guess you guys, all my hardcore fans here, who I know are really big Rick and Morty fans, loved it. Anyways, that is the end of our show today. I wish we could have more time, but we got everything all running up for our Halloween 6 producer's cut, unrated producer's cut. It says watch along, which we're going to be doing here in 10, 15, 20 minutes, sometime like that. And it's going to be fun for all of us. Anyways, thanks for joining the show. Appreciate it. Awesome to have some new people on here. If you want to keep along with the show and what we're doing, we got the Facebook group, Rick and Morty Fan Show. Everything is always posted there. So if you're a fan, if I don't know if Ben Ashworth, I don't know if you have Facebook, but Rick and Morty Fan Show on Facebook is how you'll be able to see us. Or maybe you found out about us on Twitter, which we're also constantly kind of telling people about our show on Twitter. We also have the Instagram. Don't use the Instagram a lot right now, to be honest. Thanks for joining along with us. How do we hit the music? This button? It was this button before, I think.
Play something. Somebody play something. Did it.
I'm getting better at this. See you later, guys.
It's a good show. It's a great show. It's a shit show. Pickle Rick show. Not a Jerry show. Scary Terry show. Lick my balls show. Szechuan sauce show. It's the fucking Rick and Morty Fan Show, bitch.